Good morning. Buenos dias. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. Our weekly worship is where we connect, share information, and inspiration. My name is Gary Anholt. My wife, Jaime, and I have been members here for 3 years. I help out with worship occasionally, and Jaime is on all sorts of committees and stuff. So, after moving to San Antonio from Houston 4 years ago, this community of faith has become our home away from home. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all. We strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, especially in our work for justice for our planet and all people. We recognize that San Antonio is located in the homeland of the Qua-Il-Tacan people called Yanaguana. 200 tribes, bands, and clans are documented in historical records dating back 8,000 years. Their descendants are knowledge keepers of this area. Including them in decisions about this land and its people will benefit us all. We invite those of you who are visiting to please stand so that we can see and greet you. If you are interested in becoming a member of this community, please ask any member or staff person. There is a place for you here. If you are a first-time visitor today, we welcome you to fill out the yellow card that you will find in the back of the pews. We'd love to get to know you and follow up with you. Our Reverend Minister XK is not with us today. He will return next Sunday. Wherever you are in life's journey, we hope you will find your place with us. Now I invite you to greet your neighbors so that you can extend a warm welcome to those who are on this journey with us.
Good morning. It's good to be here with you. There is a story about December, the time when all Unitarian Universalists become Christian, they say. And Garrison Keillor, who often talks about us, said that he remembers seeing a sign at the Unitarian Church that said, "Bible study at 7, bring your Bible and a pair of scissors." The holidays of the Spirit are here, reminding us that our connection is to the past, present, and future. The winter solstice is coming, as it has come since people started saying that. And in our psychic history, comes those holidays like Hanukkah, Posada, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Diwali, and perhaps others. 100 or so other seasonal. Since our holidays have come and the earth keeps spinning round and round. Those holidays that often comfort us psychologically and spiritually, and have been here longer than the actual holidays. Voltaire said, "God is a circle whose center is everywhere and circumference nowhere." Each of us has our own meaning, and we bring it to life here. The mythologist Joseph Campbell said that life has no meaning. Each of us has meaning, and we bring it to life. It is a waste of time to ask the question when you are the answer. Let the potential joy of this season be with us. May we find comfort and meaning here today as we create a holiness by our very gathering in religious search for truth, justice, sustenance, and meaning for our lives, both negative and positive. May love be present here. May love be expressed and acted out as we touch each other both literally and figuratively. Joy to the world, joy to you and me, and joy to all. Happy holidays. I like this chalice in memory of my ministry here, which brings back such joy to me. In memory of those who have gone before, both ministers and lay. In memory of holidays gone, I like the chalice. These Advent calendars, candles, I light for them. For peace, hope, and the third one today, fittingly enough, is joy. And my granddaughter, Joy, is here. So I invite my family to stand and rejoice. Let us sing together, stand as we are willing and able. 253, O come, all ye faithful.
Let's start with the Latin verse.
Amen.
We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community where all are welcome as blessings. Let's recite our covenant that articulates our promises and binds us together. Please let us read together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. Su sacramento es la búsqueda de la verdad. Y su oración es la servicio, convivir en paz, buscar sabiduría en libertad, dar a la humanidad nuestro servicio fraternal, para que todos los tomos razón en armonía con la divinidad. Así pactamos el uno con el otro. Stones are solid, enduring, and grounding. Each stone we hold represents our individual strength, our shared foundation, and the lasting impact we have on one another. We now invite you to come forward for our stone ceremony.
Let us be in the spirit of prayer. A prayer of all of you. A prayer of your memories. A prayer of your search for meaning. Your definition of that word, God, or the Holy, or the Spirit of love, or as my mother used to say, what have you. I read from the pastoral book. The great news is that Billy Berger's brother has been transformed out of ICU. Chris Lopez is happy to have visitors. The music program would like to thank Brian Ferguson for his musical service over the last decade. He is a founding member of the flute ensemble and longtime choir member. Today is his last performance with us. Christmas Eve will be his last performance with the choir. Brian will be moving to Georgia in January, so we wish him well in his future endeavors. And lastly, Lito's birthday is on Tuesday, 12/16, his last year in his 50s. Hooray. The book of time and the book of meaning is now closed. So now it is time to ask the children to come forward. Including some grandchildren. Yes, it's my grandchildren. This is. Well, welcome. I'm glad you came up. But instead of telling you a story, you're going to tell the story. I hope you don't mind. Did you know that before you came up? You probably might not have come up here if you knew you were going to have to tell the story. So let's see. The first part of the story is to say what holiday is coming up. That's the easy one. Anyone want to start with that? Yes. Christmas. And everybody knows what Christmas means. I'm talking about the word. Have you ever looked at that word? Yes.
Christmas means the holiday of giving.
It does.
Christmas means joining with your family and having family time.
It does.
Christmas means spending time with your family.
That's what I just said.
Yes.
Christmas means loving.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. So, what is Christmas?
It's God's birthday.
It's God's birthday. How old is God? Can you imagine the cake and the candles? Yes, he has.
Also, Christmas is about the toys and gifts.
No. There are toys and gifts? Wow, I didn't know that. I can't fool you. Yes.
Christmas means family.
Christmas means family. Yes.
Christmas means brothers.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Christmas means being together.
It does. Now, and somebody said it's God's birthday. What does that mean? Now, it's also known as Jesus' birthday. Is there a difference between Jesus and God? We're going to get theological. I hope you don't mind.
Jesus was God's son.
Ah. Did he have any daughters?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Just a son.
The difference between God and Jesus is God was the guy who made everything, and Jesus was one of those people, and also his son.
Okay. Boy, there's a lot of different meanings, isn't there? Yes. What's that?
No school.
Oh, another important part. Now, I grew up in New Hampshire, where this time of year, there's probably snow on the ground already, and it's very cold. And so the other favorite time was when we had something called a snow day.
You didn't have to go to school.
That's right.
There was snow and you could go sledding.
That's right.
Snow day is where snow day is where you don't have school because it's too cold.
That's right. That's right. So, yet you don't have many snow days, do you? Have you ever had a snow day? Anybody? Yeah? Okay. Well, good. Okay, so I have, the other question I have is the whole Christmas story, and God having a son and all of those are all part of our stories, and we all find what we decide is the meaning, right? And that's the important thing, I think, of holidays, is to try to find your meaning. And it sure sounded like one of the most important things for all of you, of course, is family. And family can mean more than just your family. It can mean this family out here. Because all of us are family and friends, sure. So that's the important thing. That's what I want you to bring away, that the family is larger than just you. It's connected to everybody. The end. Thank you very much for coming up. Yes. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Yes.
I'll see you at lunch.
Okay. have two readings. The first is a poem that I wrote recently about this time of year called A Winter's Day. A Winter's Day in my 9th year. I'm in central New Hampshire, the Sears Winter Wish Book on my lap, and there is just too much good stuff. It's hard to narrow it down to just a few, and I have not yet decided. But my dreams are filled with cars and fishing rods and cap guns, with money being no object and political correctness not around yet. I long for the Mattel Fanner 50 gun and holster set. And if you're as old as me, you might know what that is. Though it's out of the price range set by Mom. But page after page, I pore over all the wishes of the Sears Christmas catalog. Notice I didn't mention Jesus. Because Christmas for kids is not like religion for adults. That won't come till later. For me, in New Hampshire, there is plenty of snow on the ground and perfect for sledding. Down that hill behind the Lovett's house, always filled with friends from town, toboggans and sleds of all sizes, and those new things called flying saucers. New round aluminum things that you hang on to, go down the hill and can't steer. Christmas wishes for a 9-year-old I dream of remembering now that I am old. Part of what I used to do when I was here is to try to find those alternative words for all the Christmas carols, because sometimes people have trouble singing those words. Now, you did really well, by the way. None of you stopped at the mention of God or any of that. So I do remember when we were still meeting over in that building, before this building was built, during a service, I think it was my first year, somebody stood up and said, "I don't think we should use the word God here." And I said, "Thank you for sharing." And you have that right, but we don't eliminate that. So this is an alternative version called Now Is the Season, to the tune of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Now is the season of the year in which to celebrate the birth of one who taught that love has power to cast out hate, who through his life gave all of us example good and great. O tidings of comfort and joy, O tidings of comfort and joy, O tidings of comfort and joy. Not he alone, the sages all, the same great truth declare, that if we work with harmony and have the will to dare, that we can make earth paradise and all the life more fair. Then let us join in amity with all who live on earth, for everyone the world around is born of equal worth. O tidings of comfort and joy, etc. And if we share our love, we share our lives, then sorrow turns to mirth. Now is the year of the season in which to celebrate the birth of one who taught that love has power to cast out hate, who through his life gave all of us examples good and great. O tidings of comfort and joy, O tidings of comfort and joy.
I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward to receive this morning's offering and invite you to a moment of generosity. Your gifts make this the beloved community that we aspire to be. We're grateful to all of you for your gifts of time, talent, and treasure. We give thanks for your generous gifts and all you contribute to our beloved community.
Myth, magic, metaphor, meaning, and mistletoe. Someone named Bill Adner put a book together of kids' letters to Santa Claus. I share with you a few. One, Dear Santa, last year you didn't leave me anything good. The year before last year, you didn't leave me anything good. This year's your last chance. Alfred. Dear Santa, my baby brother would like a cowboy suit. Do you have one with diapers? Andy. And lastly, this is supposedly a true story. Names have been changed, of course, to protect the innocent and the not so innocent. After some last-minute Christmas shopping, a grandmother was rushing her grandkids into the car, and as she was closing the door, 4-year-old Jason said, "Grandma, Susie has something in her pocket." He reached into Susie's pocket and pulled out a new red barrette. Well, though she was tired, Grandma knew it was very important for Susie to take that barrette back to the owner, to apologize for taking it, and then put it back where she found it. So they did just that. And lastly, they stopped for a few groceries, and at the checkout, the clerk said, "Have you kids been good for Santa Claus?" And big brother Jason said, "Well, I've been very good, but my sister here just robbed a store." Yes, Jesus comes. Christmas comes. God comes. All of those words, and all of them have different meanings depending on your brain, your heart, your spirit. Why do most of us celebrate Christmas? And how do Unitarian Universalists celebrate Christmas? Most of us, if asked, probably don't believe in the virgin birth, in Jesus being the Christ, the Messiah being fully human and fully divine, part of the Trinity, the Son of God, a sacrifice for our sins, though as you can tell, many of the children still think that's part of it. And that's okay. But do we also believe in Santa Claus? And what do we mean by those words, believe in? The Bible was never intended, my friends, to be taken literally, but always symbolically, metaphorically, a search for meaning. And I will add, full of mystical myths. There is no original version, you might like to know, of the Bible, both Old and New Testaments. The first one ever written, the first edition. So don't go hunting for the first edition in a used bookstore. And editions were produced not by a machine, but by monks. And sometimes late in the night when they got tired. And sometimes monks saw something that they thought they should change in the Bible. And they might add a word or two, or three, or 8. And that Bible is passed on as the Bible, you see, because anything that's written in there. So the monks had a lot of things to do. And I think that the meaningful thing was that they passed that on. Another part of Unitarian Universalists and Christmas is Charles Dickens. That Christmas carol about Scrooge, which so many of us have seen, if not all of us, is about the true meaning of Christmas. And in that story, there is no Jesus or God. It's all about a person and how they reacted and how it impacted the world and how it changed by the dreams that came. The Christmas story of the Bible is actually only mentioned twice. You'd think it would have a whole chapter to itself. Very briefly in only 2 of the 4 Gospels, and I won't ask you to name them. The shepherds, for instance, are in one Gospel, but not the wise men. And the wise men are in the other Gospel, but not the shepherds. So according to the Bible, we don't know who was really there. It's all that way, you see. Things that as you study more and more, as you learn some of the meaning of words, it becomes very different. One sometimes looks for the answer to all our Christmas questions. I use the shortened version of Xmas, and it is theologically approved, by the way, because the X comes from the Greek letter chi, which is the first letter of the Greek alphabet, for the English Christ. But we spiritual independents also use X in the algebraic standing for the unknown, for which we have to search. Christmas is more influenced by Christmas carols, Coca-Cola Santas, and the toy industry, as you could tell this morning. Mark Twain once defined faith as, quote, believing what you know ain't so. He meant traditional Christianity, of course. He was one of those doubters. Religion, all religion, is actually a blend, a stew, a quilt, a maze, a mystical combination of myth, metaphor, magic meaning, legend, cultural accumulation, commerce, and institutionalism. There is a need for religion that does not go away this year of 2025, as we gathered here will attest to. And around this time, that mythical birth of Jesus, no date ever mentioned in the Bible, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. The Bible does not say when Jesus was born. And in one gospel, he's born in a manger. The other gospel, he's born in a house. Where was he born? Depends. At this time, however, the pre-Christian Romans were celebrating Saturnalia, giving gifts to loved ones. Around this time were other birthdays, too, of Apollo and Dionysus, of Odin, Opis, the wife of Saturn, and the Phrygian god Attis. Imagine all of those people being born. The Roman god Mithra, the god of war, was born in a cave on December 25th, and that's in the records. But I'm sure that's all just a coincidence. The Anglo-Saxon and the Teutonic tribes of Germany had winter holidays with things like Druid sacred symbols and the German symbol of the evergreen, for instance. And yes, of the mistletoe, which has caused so many problems at office parties. From Facebook comes this description. The winter solstice, occurring in 2 weeks, December 21st, marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year. That has mystical meanings, my friend. And in a place called Newgrange, a 5,200-year-old passage tomb is aligned with the rising sun on mornings of the winter solstice. It was built by Stone Age farmers who prospered in the region's rich lands. Imagine that, all part of the celebration. How or why these farmers built the tomb in such a way is a mystery and no one knows. Something like Stonehenge. It has been suggested that when light hits the spiral motif on the back slab in the chamber, it opens the vortex, you see, into another holy world. Newgrange predates the Egyptian pyramids. They were 500, 900 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza, and 1,000 years older than Stonehenge. End of quote. Like the evergreen and the mistletoe, which is poison, by the way, don't eat it. These are ancient links to the gods, to the other religions, but it was through in ancient times the mystical meanings and properties are passed on and changed and shaped and reshaped. In a Norse tale that was used, the arrow used to coat the tip of an arrow which has an evil spirit shot and killed Balder, the son of the god Odin, and his wife Frigga, from which we get the word Friday. You see how it's all connected, even the days of the week. And Frigga tears turned red and dyed the berries, symbolizing her love for him. She was so pleased by the white berries that she blessed the plant and promised a kiss to all who passed underneath it from that day forward. And we are still doing that, not even knowing that this is an ancient myth, not related to the birth of Jesus at all, and yet is. Who or what is controlling the weather, for instance, is another one of those questions. And if we'd had time, I was going to ask the kids that. As well as birth and death itself, are those occasions simply part of nature, or is there meaning? Notice how religious holidays tend to come around changes in the seasons and the weathers. And the earliest civilizations tied to nature and mystery saw those changes and tried to find meaning, and especially protection from nature's cycles. The winter solstice is history, while at the very same time it's myth and magic. It's an evolution of traditions gathered from around the world over the history of humanity. And who are we to argue with all of those ancient times, which tell us down through the eons that this season is sacred and we had better not forget? And yet I suspect that most of us, especially if we were raised with the celebration of Christmas, can and do find a deeper meaning during this season, a meaning that goes beyond literalness and into metaphor and memories, into traditions, into mysteries. We sometimes make the mystery in our own family, when we tell our children about Santa, so that also goes on. We always had a Christmas tree. When we were young, Kathy and I were unchurched, having been turned off by traditional Christianity, both agnostics and not yet having discovered Unitarian Universalism because no one had ever invited us to one. Hint, hint. And yet we taught our children about Santa. We celebrated Christmas in a secular way. We always had a Christmas tree and always exchanged gifts. We kept it, as the children told us, a family time. We didn't attend any church service because we didn't believe literally. And in most of the church services, it sounded like you needed to get anything out of the service. I did myself, however, find myself missing the Christmas Eve service for that sacredness, that feeling of memory, of family, of a time when my family were all alive. We believed in something like the spirit of Christmas, something that made us continue to tell the myths and stories, not believing literally a word of them, and yet some kind of Christmas service where we felt comfortable attending. Though we didn't consider ourselves Christian, we still felt that cultural need, even psychological need, for this time and to find the meaning. Most of us no longer believe literally in those myths, and perhaps it is enough to participate in them. Santa Claus is honoring the magic of winter solstice, of Hanukkah, of Christmas, so we won't lose the touch of the child within us as well. You use need to believe that there is something to learn, something to seek about all religions, all religious celebrations, to make the lives perhaps more religiously meaningful. You know, the figure of Santa Claus bears an uncanny resemblance to the Germanic god Thor, who in ancient mythology was the main god of peasants and the common people. He was described as old and jovial, and he had a long white beard. The color he was associated with was red, and fire was his symbolic element. He drove a chariot, which was thought to cause the thunder, of course, and was considered to be a helping and protective god of all the people. Especially sacred to him were fireplaces, and he was known to come down the chimney into the fire. We know that this season is chock full of stories like that, from the Bible to the shopping mall. Many of us enjoyed those works of Joseph Campbell about mythology and how religions are connected. And psychiatrist Rollo May writes in his book, The Cry for Myth. And then he said, as a practicing psychoanalyst, I find that contemporary therapy is almost entirely concerned, when all is surveyed, with the problems of the individual's search for myths. The fact that Western society has all but lost its myths were the main reason for the birth and development of psychoanalysts in the first place. Freud and divergent therapists made it clear that myths are the essential language in psychotherapy. And it sounds like, of course, he is saying that without our myths, we literally would go crazy. He says, a myth is a way of making sense in a senseless world. Myths are narrative patterns that give significance to our existence. And myths are a way of finding meaning and significance. Language abandons myth only at the price of the loss of human warmth, color, intimate meaning, value, these things that give personal meaning to life. And there can be no stronger proof of the impoverishment of our contemporary culture than the popular, though profoundly mistaken, definition of myth as falsehood. These are questions we continually ask and can never answer. But in the asking is the catharsis, the healing. When was Jesus born? Is that the important question? Most of us would answer no. The Bible never actually says. The birth story is only mentioned briefly in 2 Gospels, not in the other 4, and never in the writings of Paul, who scholars now say was the first writer of the New Testament. And especially none defining the Trinity. And yet the Christmas story continues to give many of us meaning, sometimes even despite all of that. Writer Kathleen Norris, I highly recommend her, wrote a book some years ago called Dakota, A Spiritual Geography, about inheriting the old family farm in South Dakota and moving from really hip California. She hinted that she and her husband were a little bit too cool and sophisticated. She rejected religion. Sound familiar? But she returned and eventually started attending the church, which she used to attend as a child. And she writes, "And this is who I am, a complete Protestant with a decidedly ecumenical bent. I still value music and story over systematic theology. I am just now beginning to recognize the truth of my original vision. We go to church eager to sing, and the theology is secondary," end quote. Maybe, especially for those who like to sing, even in the singing, we draw out those myths and mystery and spirits. One of the most significant figures in 20th century Unitarian Universalism was Professor James Luther Adams, known as our activist. He says in his essay, in something called the 5 Stones of Liberalism. Religious liberalism affirms the moral obligation to attend one's efforts toward the establishment of a just and loving community. It is this role which makes the role of the prophet central and indispensable in liberalism. This faith in the freedom that creates the last community, a just community, is the faith of the Old Testament prophets. They repudiate the idea that the measure of life is to be achieved by exclusive devotion to ritual, or by devotion to blood and soil, or by self-serving piety. The holy thing in life is the participation in these processes that give body and form to universalist justice. End quote. The Christmas story is not just about theology. It is that. But it's also about each one of us. Furthermore, each one of us has our own Christmas story as we use to find the meaning, and whether it be Christmas or Hanukkah or another holiday. But what we believe matters. And Unitarian Universalism encourages us all to search for free and responsible religious meaning. So let us celebrate life, death, memories, children, God, all of these things. Work to bring justice and peace in the world. And lastly, I leave you with the 10 Commandments, or because it's by me, the 10 suggestions for making it through the holidays. 1, remember that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Accept this at the beginning, no matter what your physical condition, that there will be a variety of kinds of pain, from physical to mental to spiritual, all connected by the weary, depression to headaches, to heartaches, to anger, and so on. 2, express yourself clearly about your wishes for the holiday. Don't just go along feeling like you've been bullied into religion. Remember what happens when we assume that we know what people are feeling. Remember, the minister is here just for that purpose, to talk when you need it. 3, beware of nostalgia. Don't let comparing of the past ruin the present, especially because no one can ever bake a pie like my grandmother did. I have never tasted one as good, and my wife doesn't like it when I say that. At the same time, let yourself go. Enjoy the positive parts of basking in the glow of warm memories. Remember that pie. Just don't expect the present to measure up to your idyllic childhood if you were so blessed. 4, find a way to help someone or some movement, some other family, some other organization, some way of justice. If there is one way to make you feel better, this is it. And not just to feel better, but because it's also part of religion. Drop a $20 bill into that Salvation Army kettle and don't even think about it, instead of the $1 bill that you usually drop. 5, take it easy on yourself. Lower your standards. Martha Stewart doesn't live here and is probably not going to visit. Don't compare yourself to the family favorite or success story. Be glad for who you are. 6, cry as much as you want to, and wherever and whenever you want to. Crying is therapy. Don't let other people tell you not to cry, especially when grieving. Don't let people tell you that everything's going to be all right, dear. Because it's not. It's going to be changed. You'll live with it, and things will get back to where you could live with it, but you'll always grieve for the person gone. So 7, the opposite is laugh as much as possible. Bring out the child in you, which laughter often does. For laughing is also good therapy. Rent some comedies for the holidays. Notice this is old when I said rent some holiday. 8, spend more time with the people you love. And yes, that may not be your family. We all have different families. Some of them are people we don't want to spend time with because they are toxic and bring us down. Beware of toxic people. If you can't or don't want to be family, come to church. Volunteer somewhere. Be around people. There are plenty of people that want you in their family. 9, reach out and touch someone and be touched. We need the human touch. We need to be hugged and touched on a regular basis. We have all read about the babies who weren't held and the babies who were, and the difference. 10, go to church or other religious community, one that has meaning for you. Cultivate your spiritual dimension that is in community with others in that sense of the universe, however you define it, for relationships are at the core of all religions. And so, amen, and peace, shalom, which means peace in Hebrew, because right now you can't go to Bethlehem and see where Jesus was born, because you might get killed by the war. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you in Arabic. Namaste, a Hindu greeting, the divine within you from the divine within me. And lastly, blessed be. And let me add one more blessing that I adapted from the Spanish long ago. When we say goodbye in Spanish, we say literally, go with God. So I adapted it to be Unitarian Universalist and say, vaya con su Dios. Go with your idea of God. May it be so. Thank you. It is wonderful to be back with you again. Let us stand as we are willing and able and sing hymn number 255.
And a little announcement, we have a lot of food available, Donna tells us, in the fellowship hall to go with the recital after church. Thank you.
Not the idea of who we are, not the light that leads us. May it continue to lead us. In the flames of Advent, may there always be peace, joy,